What's going on, everybody out there all across the land? Of course, you know you're back to the number one station on the net, Hotline Radio. WHLR1.com is where you log on for the best music and the hottest interviews and updates for what's going on with the Keith Harris Show. And of course, I'm your guy, Keith Harris. Once again, thank you for tuning in and joining us tonight. We just had that recap, as I said, with main man Juan Ortiz. He's a friend of ours and also a colleague as well. So now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce to you this gentleman. Check this. I'd like to introduce to you this gentleman also, who I'm honored to be working with. He's always making some noise. You expect him to be making a lot more noise in the future. Without any further ado, I'd like to roll out the red carpet for director, producer, writer, and actor Austin Muratori. What's going on with you, Austin?
Not too much. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, it's an honor to have you on board with me tonight. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is a brand new moment, but then I feel like we're catching up also as well, being that we got plans to work together in the future, man. So consider it home, and you're welcome anytime, my brother.
I really appreciate that, man.
Right. So you're working on something. You got something coming up a little bit where it's not even in the future. Something that you're working on now, as a matter of fact, and we'll talk about that. But first, let's just for the listeners out there, kind of give everybody a briefing on just where you're from, where you were born and raised at.
Well, I grew up in Michigan. I was born and raised in a small town called Grand Haven, off of Lake Michigan. And now I'm living in Utica, which is like just south of there. It's another really small town, but
okay. But okay, that's what's up. How did you have intentions on being involved in the entertainment industry, or was it kind of like sports, or just something else for you, and then you kind of made a right turn into this, or was this always the direction you wanted to go?
Well, I've always had a passion for it. Originally, I wanted to be a professional football player, as most little kids can, dream of.
Right.
And I went through some health issues. I was actually diagnosed with a rare type of cancer when I was 10 years old.
Right.
So that actually took away all those aspirations. But deep down inside, I kind of always knew that I wanted to pursue this, because I was always writing and making short films with my friends when I was younger. And the older I got, the more I learned about it, and the better I got, and figured that it was something that I really wanted to do.
Oh, okay. What was it like? How did you dive into writing your first script? Like, can you remember what it was about?
Very vaguely, it was it was actually something to do with leprechauns. I remember. But before I even knew what screenwriting was, I would write short stories, poetry. Ever since I learned how to write, wasn't very good in the beginning, but it was something. And when I was probably 14, I started writing actual ideas down in some dialogue, and my friends would come over on the weekend, and we would kind of off the cuff film it. We stuck to somewhat some of the script.
Right.
We kind of just went off the top of our heads and had fun with it. We did that just about every weekend and most of the summers, all through school. And the first real script that I sat down and wrote, structure-wise and everything, I was probably 15 or 16. And I learned most of the process by teaching myself, reading other scripts and studying it, and actually doing it that way. But it was for a short film called Gravity. I took television production in high school and everything. And so that was the first time I really sat down and tried to hammer out an actual script that we actually shot word for word.
Right. How is there's the writing side of things. because you're doing more. You're also directing and and producing as well. Which one do you enjoy the most?
Well, I enjoy all of them really, but I would have to say writing is the most therapeutic for me.
Hmm.
And I learned that kind of, when I was sick and going through everything, I would journal and, kind of in order to take myself away from the pain and everything that was going on, I would create these different worlds to kind of dive into. And
Hmm.
that's kind of been my go-to throughout life, struggling with different things with health, things like that.
Right.
I enjoy the process of being able to, sit there, write, create it, and kind of releasing some of that energy. But I also love directing and being able to take my own material that I came up with and actually see it come to life visually instead of just in my head.
Yeah, that is that's got to be an exciting, kind of exciting because that's true. A lot of people can imagine what it is. It's almost like listening to a music and you get lost in the song and you try to create your own, choreograph your own video inside your head. So like you say, it's pretty much choreographing, in other words, right?
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good. Um, what are some other project? What's been your favorite project? Do you have a favorite? I know you love them all your work, but have you had a particular favorite?
I have, and it was actually doing something pretty minor. I was a couple years ago. I was an extra on a pretty big film called The End of the Tour. It's actually supposed to be coming out here in a few weeks. It
Hmm.
stars Jesse Eisenberg and Jason Segel, and it's a biopic on author David Foster Wallace.
Hmm.
And I actually got an extra gig, being a paid extra, working on it for a few days, and it was amazing just to be able to meet these professionals who I watched on TV and watched movies all the time with them,
Hmm.
and to be able to watch them work and to meet them was a pretty awesome experience. I would have to say that would be my favorite because I learned so much from it.
That's always interesting. Something as simple as that. Because I used to say the same thing all the time. I liked the thought of being in the industry, but there's something about being on that set, even as an extra. As you say, I've done it myself, and just being able to watch the machinery of how things work, and once that bug bites you, there's no looking back after that.
Right.
You know?
And to see the way everything's done, on a complete professional level where everybody has their position
Right.
and their job and the way it flows, like, was pretty eye-opening because I'm used to doing these, lower budget projects with just a few crew, doing just about everything myself.
Hmm.
And, it's fun, but to be able to see in a professional environment how
Hmm.
everybody just flows together, you got a great group of filmmakers all together,
Right.
doing their specialty and creating magic. It's really, really cool to see that level.
Look. I tell you something else I enjoyed about it. It always felt good to be able to do that extra, that work as an extra, and get that little check that you get, and be happy because then you realize you got that for something that you love to do. It's like I just got paid for enjoying this day at work.
Right. It almost seems like you're committing a crime because you're having fun. It doesn't really seem like work because you're enjoying it so much. It's almost like, did I do something wrong?
Right. Um, how would that have taken you into acting? Like, have you done your share of acting other than the extra work? Have you done your share of acting, or is that something you're looking forward to getting into in the future?
Yeah, I've done a lot. I've done some school plays. I starred in a lot of my old short films that I used to make.
Hmm.
I actually had a small part in an indie film that kind of blew up on the film festival circuit. And a funny story about that.
Hmm.
I got the part, great filmmaker, everything. I go and shoot the scene, just a small little scene. So excited about it. And then, a little while later, I'm like, the director was supposed to send me the footage so I could have it for my reel. And, I kept asking him about it, and he said, unfortunately, we had to cut your scene.
Oh.
And he's like, it wasn't anything to do with you, it was me. And, I'm kind of bummed about it, but it turns out I think the role that he actually had a bet with one of his friends, and so his friend actually brought it up to him, and so he, promised him he could have a role in his film.
Right.
So they reshot it with him. But the awesome filmmaker that he was, he still put my name in the credits, giving me a special thanks and everything for it, and so
That's cool.
pretty awesome. You know, it was fun on set, and actually, the film went on. The film's called Ape, and it was directed by a filmmaker called Joel Petrikis.
Oh, okay.
And it went all over the film festival circuit. He won Best New Director in the Locarno Film Festival, and really took off. And the actor, the star actor, Joshua Burge, and he's actually taken off. The second film that they shot together called Buzzard had the same success. Actually got a distribution deal, and he actually got a pretty decent part in Leonardo DiCaprio's new film, The Revenant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was cool to be able to work with him, you know, in the beginning before all this kind of blew up.
Right.
Kind of pointers here and there, but I just love the experience overall, being versatile in it. There's not one little job that I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, each experience is different in its own way, and it allows you to, you know, you always pick up a different piece that you can utilize, you know, along the way, and that's something important, right?
Right.
Now, and listen, and now you're heading, you continue on now because you're writing, you're the writer on this amazing new series that has already been making so much noise, you know, and shouts out to their whole crew. You know, I was lucky enough to have them on before, but listen, you're right, and this must be a big deal because people are loving this, and I'll let you I guess kind of introduce that film, which is, we both know what it is, but tell us about the film that you're writing on right now, or sorry, the series that you're writing on right now.
Well, it's called Surviving the Undead, season 2, and it's going to be completely different than what everybody's seen from season 1.
Wow.
It's about a group of people, different walks of life. They're all trapped in a bank during a bank robbery, and they have to try to stay alive when the world becomes infected by a man-made virus. So the whole thing's going to take place in a bank.
Right.
The intensity is going to be high.
Yeah.
And, you know, me and Todd Braley kind of want to do this thing where, you know, he challenged me, you know, to try to take it to the next level, because I became a fan like everyone else for season 1.
Right.
Actually, you know, I met Todd a few years back. I actually stumbled across one of his films that he made on YouTube, and figured I would reach out to him because, you know, I like to collaborate with really talented, passionate filmmakers.
Right.
And we would talk over the years, and actually he sent me some of the scripts from season 1. I read them, was really interested in them, and I was glued to the edge of my seat the whole time for season 1. And as they're airing, I'm like, Todd, send me the next one. I got it. You know, I became a fan like everybody else, and was like really, really hooked on it. I was like, man, I want to work with these guys.
Right.
So when he asked me to be a part of season 2 and come on and write it, I was like, awesome.
Right. You know, and I tell you, I feel like, because, you know, Todd, people know Todd. You know what I mean? Some people don't know that, but then there's plenty of people who do know that. The people are familiar with Todd, so people know that he is you know, he does great work. And do you feel like the success, because I'm a fan too. First of all, let me say that everybody knows I'm a fan too. I went bonkers. I will be on social media posting because I'm mad at what happened after, you know, season 1. It all that kind of stuff. You know, do you feel like the success or the recognition or the receptiveness that people showed to season 1 and just the whole idea of Surviving the Undead, do you think it was a surprise? Like, do you think for a lot of people it kind of came out of left field that it was going to do so well?
I think so. I mean, it's one of those things with, you know, the world is so populated with apocalypse stories and zombie stories that, you know, I don't think people really, you know, when they heard about it, was really going to give it a chance, because they figured, oh, it's just, you know, something that's been regurgitated 1,000 times. And but, you know, the surprising part is, which surprised me, is just how different it actually is.
Yep.
You know, it's more about the characters than it is the actual events that are going on, and the fact that the show did such a good job at reeling the audience in, getting them hooked and connected to these characters on an emotional level, I think is what sets the show apart completely.
Yeah, you know, you do make a good point, because there were so many shows, like you say, where most of the focus is just kind of on gore and the zombies. But with Surviving the Undead, it's almost like you have. I'm gonna tell you, it's almost like a soap opera that people can love, but in the meantime, it's like they're living in a zombie world. You know what I'm saying? And so this is and so this apocalypse is going on outside, but like you say, it really gives chance for people to get to know the characters itself. And I felt like that that was really important. For season 2, and I know you can't give out much information, so stop me when I need to, but the action, because the actions to pick up at the end of season 1, is it can we expect, or can the people expect some? Well, I'm assuming if people are trapped in a bank, there's going to be some action. But will there be some action, or are some people, are some people going to die? Are people going to throw their hands up like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened in season 2?
Well, put it this way: season 2, is going to be completely different than season 1.
Uh-huh.
We kind of went with the whole American Horror Story thing, where season 2, different seasons can be about different things, but still bring back some of the same actors to play different roles.
Right.
So in that aspect, there's still going to be a bunch of intense, crazy moments. People are always going to be on the edge of their seat.
Right.
And I think the suspense and intensity level
Right.
is going to be way higher, and everybody's going to be in for quite the ride with this one.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. I know people are looking forward to it, and it's just amazing for everybody who likes season 1. I know people are on the edge of their seats just waiting to see what's going to happen in season 2, and just how creative you guys are going to get in being able to change it around. I got to ask, how do you stay up? How much of the brain is it taking? Do you do your best writing at night? Is it in the daytime, or kind of when it comes to you?
I actually do my best writing at night.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have insomnia as it is, have a hard time sleeping, but for some reason, the night, the dark, the isolation of it, being able to be by myself,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason I just work better at night. Ideas come better, and it seems to flow better. I still do write during the daytime.
Right.
I try to write. I write something every day. I at least take 4 or 5 hours every day
Right.
to write. But
Uh,
the best material usually comes probably around 2:30, 3 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Right. When the
Picks up, yeah.
yeah, when the lights are kind of down, and it's a bit quiet, and the thoughts can just kind of come to you. You can kind of visualize what you want to write then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Can the public expect to see Austin doing any acting in the future?
Yes, actually, I recently graduated from Full Sail University as the valedictorian with 4.0 and everything, and
Wow, congrats.
yeah, my senior thesis film that I made in order to graduate, called Results, is actually hitting the film festival circuit. But I wrote, directed, shot, and acted in that film.
Hmm.
So as soon as I get, it makes the rounds of the film festivals, I'll be releasing that for everybody.
Okay, that's what's up. And what'd you say the name of it was again?
Called Results.
Okay, and that's for everybody out there. Now, are you gonna eventually have possibly know what festivals you're gonna enter it in and things like that? You'll be able to let people know where if they want to go to the festival and see it and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'll post it right on my Facebook page and my Twitter.
Okay, that's a big.
I also have a website.
Okay, that's a big deal right there. Like, is this the first project that you've done that your creation that this hit the film festival circuit?
Yes, actually it is.
That's exciting for you, right?
Yeah, I'm stoked. Really stoked. It was a lot of hard work with it. It was a learning experience. A lot of pressure too. It
Yeah.
wasn't like these projects you get to have fun with and just go with. It was, a senior thesis project. You have to have a film in order to graduate. So, and it was a strict deadline. Low budget and
Mhm.
pressure packed. Some things went wrong, some things went right, but it's one of those ones where I'm really proud of it because of all the hard work and to see that I actually was able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish with it.
Hmm. Hmm. With it being your first film in the festival, are you gonna Are you going to try to show up and just, kind of be there and get the excitement and, shake hands?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
That's going to be amazing. And yeah, like you say, when you get ready to post and let us know. Now, what are you able to kind of give a small briefing of what results is the plot behind results, or?
Yeah, basically, it's about a man who just found out news that he has cancer and he only has a short period of time left to live.
Hmm.
Being that it's the second time he had cancer, he, is really, really upset at the results and decides he wants to take matters into his own hands. And so that could turn out to be, good or bad, depending on which way you want to look at it. You just have to wait and see.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
that. Yeah,
it's a pretty emotionally intense and kind of dark piece.
yeah.
But I did something a little bit different. I actually shot it black and white.
Oh, wow.
Against my instructors at film school, they wanted me to have it in color and this and that. I kind of went against the grain a little bit with it, but I think it turned out okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to make it into the festivals. It must have did its thing. And you know what? Being creative like that, you have to be outside the box sometimes. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. Do you feel like going to school, because you've been doing this at an early age? Do you feel like, well, I know going to school and taking courses obviously tweaked your knowledge in the industry. Do you feel like you could have done it either way, with or without, just because it was your
Oh
passion anyway?
yeah, I would have to say most likely if I didn't go, I probably could have made it
Hmm.
because I did teach myself a lot and learn a lot by studying. I'm kind of observative with that. Like I can teach myself a lot.
Hmm.
But the thing that gave me the edge was the connections,
Yeah.
the networking, and just meeting the people that are part of the school and what the school did. I mean, there was a lot of things that I still didn't know
Hmm.
that after I went to school, I know now that I'm kind of glad, and a lot of that kind of on the business end of filmmaking.
Right.
So in that aspect, that really saved me years of probably making mistakes and having to learn from them. But
Right.
I really also like the fact that it's one of the most prestigious film schools in the country,
Hmm.
and the thing that drew me to it was that if you graduate there, it's already kind of setting the bar because they have connections with studios, Universal, everything in California. So they've had a lot of success with their alumni,
Hmm.
and so if you graduate and do well from Full Sail, a lot of times the studio will come to you for jobs because they know that Full Sail is producing a certain level of filmmaker, a certain quality, very professional.
Hmm.
So to add that to my resume, I thought could only help me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely credentials, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Now, for those, question for people who are thinking of getting into this industry, I have to ask: is this a hard business?
It's very difficult. There's a lot of hard work.
Hmm.
There's a lot of you're learning constantly. And the biggest thing is you constantly have to be doing something and building your skill level. A lot of people out there think that it's filmmaking. You're just having a bunch of fun and it doesn't really take work. It's not a real job, but that's completely false because yeah, there's fun on set, but it's so tedious and difficult, and it's actually a lot of hard work.
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta. It's no different than working construction and doing this and that. It's all about the details and putting things together. It's just sometimes it's not as physical; it's more mental.
Right.
But it's for people that are out there wanting to break into it, one thing that I would suggest is to just make sure you watch a lot of movies. Read scripts, study people, study the greats, study the ones that aren't so great,
Hmm.
and just get out there and do it with the way the technology is, with equipment being so cheap. As long as you can have a decent camera for a couple $100, get some of the equipment, go out there and make something. It doesn't matter if the quality is brilliant, but practice.
Hmm.
And the big thing is practice iPhone. Yeah, the quality's okay, but it's not cinematic like you see in the theaters. But the stories are so good that you ignore that.
Right. And a lot of long hours, I assume. Sometimes
There's
shoots.
a lot of long hours.
Yeah, all day. So, right. What your let's say you were your your dream story, like just imagining, what your favorite uh film that you would like to write. What would it be about, or have you ever thought about that?
That's a good question. I think I'll know when I write it, and I think if I write that dream story, I think it'd be time to retire. You never really top that again.
Yeah.
But it's always up there with my expectations. It's always something that I'm chasing, and I write every day to try to achieve that perfect dream story.
Right. Right.
And I think honestly, I would rather spend my whole life pursuing that than actually get there and tell that perfect story. And like I said, be done. Because being able to get all the stories out there and to learn and actually do what I love, whether I'm getting paid or not, that to me is what matters, as opposed to actually achieving that perfect story.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I've asked that question a lot of times. I've never quite gotten that particular answer. That's interesting because you're right. Because then everything that you do, every story you write, you can look for writing one that's not necessarily better, but just kind of stretches, stretches it out a bit. And you that way you have no limitation as to what you can do, right? Because as you say, once you hit that, where do you go after if you set your mind at, this is the end of it all, what do you do once you reach that, right?
Right, and see, it's like one of those, like for me, I'm a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So each project I do, there's still something I see wrong with it, and I just gotta work on, being okay with it and just, accepting it for what it is and letting it go. But if I ever got to the point where, like you said, I get that perfect story to where, I'm not worried about anything, I'd kind of be scared, because then once you make it,
right,
you'll never be able to top that again. And everything else will fail in comparison, and it's almost like, you know what I mean? Like, once you do it, it's hard to do that again, so it's like,
right.
I'd rather,
and then you're
trying.
And then you're crushed. And then you're crushed if anything finds anything wrong with it.
Exactly.
So you're like, wait now, I thought this was my best work, and here it is. How do you know what the people want? Or do you really know? Like when you write a story, do you have a formula to just kind of know what people want, or do you just kind of go on what you see people like these days?
Honestly, I don't really take into consideration like the latest trends and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I write things that I would want to read, or things that I would, films that I would want to see, and go for the stories that interest me and get me going, as opposed to trying to write for trends. Because to me, writing that way, writing for trends, is kind of one of those things nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to be successful and what's not, and what trend's popular, whether it's horror or comedy this month. So I feel like it's not genuine when you write that way.
Right.
If you write, things that you love, there's originality to it, and people can pick up your passion through that, and it doesn't come off as fake.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, so your next projects that everybody can look forward to will be Results and Surviving the Undead, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, your Facebook handles, your Twitter handles, and everything like that, for people who want to follow your work, where can everybody check you out at?
You can check me out on Facebook at Austin Muratori, Muratori. I'm also under Twitter with the same, my first and last name. And my website is www.austinmuratori.wordpress.com.
Okay.
Constantly updating things there.
That's right. Listen, and everybody, make sure you check out his work. And, for everybody out there, because I know Surviving the Undead as well as Results has, a lot of people are waiting on those. And look, I'm glad we spoke to you because for those out there who are not familiar with Austin's work, he's been doing amazing work for quite some time, and we are really looking forward. Listen, the anticipation is high right now, Austin, for what's coming out of your pen.
Awesome.
So everybody's looking forward to it. And look, congratulations on all your success. We wish you so much more. And listen, us and the whole team are looking forward to working with you. We're looking forward to getting out there and making some big things happen. This is going to be huge. Listen, any shout outs you want to give before we go?
I just want to give a shout out to my good buddy Todd for bringing me in, making me a part of this project, and also my mother, Sandy, my Lois farmer. I couldn't be where I am today without her.
No doubt. I mean, look, I got to congratulate her too, and shout outs to her, especially congratulations to you, man, too, on that 4.0. That's a big deal.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate that. I figure, with the whole film school thing, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do the best I can, get the most out of it, so that I can be the best person and professional I can be.
Right. And I think that's important too. And the reason I wanted to kind of echo back to that was because for everybody out there listening, it is very important because like Austin said, this is, in anything you do, but, especially in this industry, there are the business side of things. There's the education that you have to have with it. And it definitely takes a lot of focus. So for you to be able to display just how important taking what you do seriously and getting good grades at it really means a lot. And I think it inspires because a lot of people don't feel like getting the proper knowledge is such a big deal. You have people who get lucky at this industry, but I think it lets people know that, hey, you're not wasting your time by going to school. It's something that you really should keep in mind doing. So it's a great message, man. And a lot of people forgot about them 4.0s out there. So that inspires people to start reaching for those. Listen, y'all can still get a 4.0 now. A lot of people done stopped at the 2.5, Austin.
Oh man, yeah, it's one of the things. It's achievable. You just gotta work hard for it.
Right.
It's something you love to do. It should come natural. Just put in the effort and you can do it. And one of those things that I like to tell people is people that are afraid. Either life's got them down or something prevented them from going to school when they're younger. It's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's life is too short to second guess it and to say, oh well, it's too late for me now. And no, it's not. If you're alive, go for it while you're here, because before you know it, life's gonna be up and you're gonna really wish you did.
I know. Be looking back like, man, there's always a phrase that tomorrow is the beginning of the rest of your life, so make it count.
Right.
Absolutely. Look, once again, thank you for coming on and joining me on the show tonight. You already know you're home, and listen, we're gonna get a chance to talk to you again. Look, when results is hitting the festival scene, when it does, make sure you come back on and talk to us about where that's going to be at, so we can blast that out and everybody can come show up, and I can come probably join you as well and enjoy the festivities, and we come back on the air live again.
Definitely, man. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. It was great talking with you, and I'll certainly let you know and some other projects that are in the pipe too. So
absolutely. Everybody out there all across the land, you're listening to the Keith Harris Show right here on WHLR1.com with director, producer, writer, and actor Austin Muratori. Make sure you check them out. Check out Results. Surviving the Undead Season 2 is coming up. It's going to be big. Make sure you check that out. We'll keep you updated with all the listings for that as well. Hit them up on Facebook. Get the website one more time to Austin.
www.austinmuratori.wordpress.com.
That's right. So make sure you get at them and check them out. Listen, Austin, we'll be talking to you soon, my man.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Everybody out there all across the land, that was Austin Muratori right here on the Keith Harris Show, GN. All right, talented guy. And we look forward to him in the future. All right, don't touch that dial. You listen to the #1 station on the net, Hotline Radio, Keith Harris Show, WHLR1.com.